Welcome to the Javier Mendez podcast. We are here just giving you some updates on how we are seeing the coronavirus. It's going everywhere. I'm sure everyone else is talking about it, but it affects sports. And Javier works in the professional sports world, so he just got back from Vegas, and you were saying they shut down the food and everything over there?
Yeah, the buffet restaurants, not restaurants, but the buffets, they're shutting them down. That's what I was told. I heard that some of the basketball games are going to be no audience, because they have TV contracts that they have to fulfill. So that's been going on. I believe the UFC has been looking into this for like over a month and a half about what they can do as far as if they're going to move events or cancel events. As of yet, the UFC hasn't made any decision on what they're going to do, but they're fully aware of it. And that being the case that they've been working on this, I would think that they're, the UFC's planning for what they need to do in case something happens. I think that New York have an epidemic there already, or they're starting to think like that. So that being the case, I think the UFC is going to probably be looking, alternatives for what they need to do, whether they need to shut down or whether they need to do what some of the other companies have been doing, like ONE FC. They're the first ones that we heard of that's playing the fights without the actual audience. I think now that the NBA is supposedly doing that, I think that's the logical way to go. Is as long as the audience isn't there, the TV still goes on. TV contracts don't get affected, and fighters get paid, athletes get paid. The promotions don't make as much, obviously, because there's no live gate, and that's a big deal. But on the other hand, maybe they make it up by no live gate, but these people go and watch and they pay for the events, or they watch live. You watch it on TV, So that's obviously what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you're being extra cautious here at your gym. Your wife and Shai, the front desk, making sure, hey, let's cut down the limited amount of people here. And I'm sure it still you have concerns because this is everywhere. I mean, I know some places are sending their workforce home to remotely.
Yeah.
Right?
Like here, what we're doing is if people are coming from out of town and they're not really known around here, we don't give them a tour anymore. They can come in the front desk, but we don't let them walk around. That's how much, we're taking that serious because, hey, one person in this gym gets it shuts the gym down. That's your whole business, and I don't think I want to be shut down. So obviously if we're not careful, if you report one case, that's all we need to do is somebody report one case. If it comes from your gym or your facility or your restaurant, dude, it's disaster. You're going to lose. And this thing, it's becoming a big deal. I was just at the store the other day, and I didn't even think about it. And I'm watching everybody, and everybody's got their carts full of food. And I'm going, what the hell? Why is all these people? I thought maybe it was an odd day or something. Then I went, oh, you dumbass. It's the coronavirus. These people are packing up just in case. They need to stay home, so they're packing up for months in at a time. And that's why all the toilet paper and all the water, I guess, at the Costco has been gone, and the hand sanitizer and the whole bit, So, no, this is a serious deal. It's not something to take lightly. Yeah.
Well, I just coughed, but that's not corona cough. I got to say, it's going to have financial implications on a lot of people. And it could have your gym. It could have it on anybody. But, like, we have a guy from Italy who got here before it spread all over Italy, went through some checkups, made sure he was okay. He's going to fly back to Italy. And going home might be a little bit next to impossible because there's quarantines, there's police. It's like World War II. Let me see your papers. Where are you coming from? Who are you? Who are you with? I mean, that's what he's fearing, and it's like trying to find a mask to wear on the airplane is almost next to impossible because some people hoarded the masks. They're never going to wear all these masks, but they're not helping out their community either. I mean, people, when it comes down to fear of loss, they go extreme and they don't care about their fellow man in a lot of cases. It's pretty rough, man. That's
No, it's pretty bad. And we got to be careful, because if you don't, you run in trouble. I mean, all these events that are canceled, man, I can't continue to go on and go on. How many, like the Arnold Classic, that was a big one that got shut down. I was when that one got shut down, I heard last week. I was like, oh, this is some serious stuff. Ain't nothing to play with. With Arnold Classic gets shut down, that's a big deal, you know. And whether you yourself shut down or not doesn't matter. It got shut down. Whether the city or the state shut you down. Look at me, I'm coughing too now. And yeah,
right?
it's a bad thing, man. And we gotta make sure that we take care of ourselves. I heard that people under 19 years of age is only the 2% of infection on them, and no single fatality. So it appears that if you're under 19, you're safe. And usually the ones that are the most problems are the 60 and above that run into the more problems, unhealthy and smokers. If you're a smoker, I guess, and you're a drinker, or if you have diabetes or anything of that nature, you're at higher risk in the older category. You know, if you have respiratory issues, that's another one, you know. So whether you're young or not, if you have respiratory issues, that's a problem. But so far, from what I read and heard, under 19 years of age, no fatalities yet, and only 2% or less than 2% have been infected of all those that are infected.
Well, the morbidly obese are at risk, you know, definitely. You know, people that aren't that healthy, people with asthma, or like you said, COPD. I mean, that's a little tough, you know. That's not always going to work the best way. Had to fix the t-shirts in the background. But I mean, we're concerned. We're concerned as for the sport. We're concerned for the people that watch this show. I mean, you guys can share your stories with us. What's going on in your part of the world? How is coronavirus affecting where you live? Because we have fans here from anywhere from Pakistan, India, Russia, Germany, Sweden. People are watching this show from everywhere. So we want to hear and maybe share and see if anybody has any solutions, any ideas of what they've seen out there in the world. You know, this is our own little news channel, even though it's supposed to be about fighting. You know, like I told the Italian kid, he was stressed out about not being able to make it to the gym. I said, don't worry about the gym or your next fight. Worry about staying alive. That's the thing you forget, but you get so on a mission, you get so dedicated where you must finish the mission. It gets hard to turn that off and go, oh, wait a second. I have to stay alive. I have to survive this, right, Hav?
Pretty much. I mean, look, I personally don't, if I catch it, I personally think I'm going to be fine. But, you know, I can't say the same for other people, you know, but not that I want to catch it. I don't want to catch it. Because if I catch it, my whole gym gets shut down. Sorry. Nope. Don't want it. Don't need it. Don't want it. And yeah, you know, it's just, you just got to be careful. You got to wash your hands clean. And, you know, if you shake somebody's hand, don't touch your face right away. And if you cough, you know, make sure you use a handkerchief or paper, or cough on your arm, you know, and try not to let
Yeah.
it go out. Yeah, pretty much. That's what they're saying, you know. And yeah, it's important, you know. And also, too, people, from what I've heard, that are not, have not, show no signs of any kind of coronavirus doesn't mean they don't have it. And they could be a carrier. It doesn't affect them, or it affects them mildly, but they infect everybody else. So that's the danger of this thing, is that it's because it spreads so quick. It is not that it's super deadly, because it really isn't. It's not super deadly, but, you know, it spreads quick. So that right there, you know, especially, you know, your elder people, you don't want, you know, I know a lot of good friends of mine that are in their past 60s, 70s, and man, they get it. I don't know if they'll survive.
It's something that it's whacking the economy. Fear spreads. Fear stops productivity. You know, risk versus reward, live or die. Well, maybe I won't go work at the lumber yard or wherever this is going on. And, you know, we just want everybody to play it safe. Like Hob says, wash your hands, stay clean. And, you know, I go back and to give you the personal story, somebody we have who's asking me, where can I buy a mask? There's no mask. And he wants to go back and get to his house. And he probably has to fly into Monaco and then get into Italy and probably go through 50 checkpoints the way it sounds on the media. I don't know this personally, but imagine that. Like you had to go home and fly
Yeah.
from Vegas and just
Isn't there like almost 9,000 people infected in Italy?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and then it's, what is it? Italy pretty close to the second most impacted country?
It is. It's one of the highest. I mean, I looked at the map. There's a couple of areas that are, I think, as much or more. I mean, a lot of Asia, proximity to Asia. But what we're looking at here is it's just people, there's people saying it's a conspiracy. I don't see why anyone would want this kind of conspiracy. It's just inevitable, that this will happen if this kind of thing spreads. The bubonic plague was there.
Yeah, it's like the whole world is in on a conspiracy. I find that very hard to believe. How can it be a conspiracy if the whole world is going on, and at least it's been planned forever? And how can nobody leak that if it's I think is it maybe they're overdoing it as far as closing places down, this and that, possibly. But as far as a conspiracy, no, this is the real deal, and I don't see why people would want to lose millions of dollars and events on a conspiracy type thing. It hurts everybody. It hurts the whole economy. Everything gets hurt. People aren't doing that on purpose. What's the purpose?
You'd have to be Dr. Evil in a spaceship hovering in orbit.
Or you're trying to sell the antidote later, but yeah, the antidote, as far as they say the cure for it, they said they're probably about anywhere from a year to 18 months away from finding it. So, I mean, come on, no, I don't believe it's a conspiracy, and I'm not saying I'm right. I just said I don't believe it as well. I believe it's the real deal, and I don't believe it's killing everybody. I believe it definitely is killing the elderly and the sickly, because everybody's following it. You see the graphs, and it says roughly around 3% or so have died from it. And every day, in some countries, only like one case has popped up on a daily basis. Some zero. So and maybe some countries they're having it better under wraps, or they're contained better. Who knows? It's hard to say, because if you think about some of these third world countries, second world countries, right? The more they put out there that they have the coronavirus there, and you're planning to take a vacation, where are you not going?
Well,
I'm not going there.
My friend just canceled her trip to Italy for sure, and I usually go to Spain in around fall, and we're not looking at locking that down. We bought the plane tickets, but they were cheap.
Yeah.
And you're not going to rent any villas from here preemptively because it's not worth it. And I'm just looking at it. I'm like, this is impacting everything. And what
about the cruise ships? What about the cruise ships? Who's going to want to rent a cruise ship right now? Who's going to want to go on a cruise ship? You're contained inside, I mean, that's kind of rough. I think that business is going to suffer quite a bit. And, honestly, the food industry too, because people touch the food, and that's why the buffets are being affected. And that's why they shut them down. So, man, this is a big deal. It really is. I mean, as much as, I'm not afraid of it from the aspect of me being hurt badly by it, I'm afraid of it from the economical way it's going to impact the businesses, and everybody. It's going to impact everybody if it doesn't get contained soon.
The question is how. I mean, when I talked with Enrico and he was talking to his folks back home, and he was trying to explain it to my wife, he's like, hey, so basically the Germans haven't really let out their data. So the Italians have done all their checks and they're just putting it out on the line. He doesn't feel everyone else is being as honest and that they're maybe not as clean as they said they were. And that the spread from Italy was like by some business guy they traced it to, or someone like this, who was told to stay on quarantine. But hey, this salesman had to go sell more coat hangers or whatever he was selling, computers, and he bounced all around Europe and just took it with him. I mean, very inconsiderate. Like some of the bad people with AIDS that knew they had AIDS and slept with people anyways and never told them. One of those kind of things. In consideration, they don't care.
It's going to happen that way for the life of humans. That's basically, not everybody's going to act accordingly and do the right thing. Like you said, with the AIDS epidemic, someone gets AIDS and they get so pissed off that they got it, they thought it was unfair, so they went out and infected as many people as they could because they got it too. So they're like, well, I didn't deserve this. Well, I'm going to give it to them. They don't deserve it either, but I don't care. I'm dying anyways. So, not that this is that type of thing, but it is, in some degree, 100% is.
Anybody listening to me and Hav's opinion, we have a good opinion. We're not scientific experts, but we are men that deal in logic and look ahead at things. And if you have any insights, please share them in the comments. We'd like to hear it. We may talk about it. Who knows? If the gym shuts down, that's our show, you, us, and this. Because, and I really hope not. So far, no warning of it yet. Everything's been controlled. Habib's camp's going well, but we're just looking at world news and reacting to it. There's no hidden agenda here. There's nothing being sleight of hand, right? You know.
Nope. But let's hope everything goes well.
Okay, guys, look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for the quick coronavirus. I know it's not MMA, but me and Jav, you guys care about us. We care about you. Please subscribe, share with your friends. And if you get any world experts that want to talk to us, we'll put them on the podcast.